Are we on?
All right. Barakatah Yahweh,
The Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh Shai,
the Yahweh Shai,
Barakatah Yahweh,
the Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh Shai,
the Yahweh Shai,
Call Halal Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Waha
Wahalal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai,
Waha Rachak Wadash.
Waharakakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. Me and the brother Hanak, we're breaking the bread again, and we just wanted to get into a lesson regarding uh, basically serving your brother, being humble, um, not thinking that you're above something, um, especially if a brother uh, uh, is being charitable. It's important to try your best to match that charity. Um, and so we want to start off in Matthew. If you had any points, brother, or anything to start off with, you can go
Now
ahead.
we can go right into the scriptures.
Okay, Khan. All
All
right,
right.
let's go ahead.
And where do you wanna start at?
In Matthew, I want to start at verse 25. I want to start at verse 25.
Okay, this is Matthew's 20 and 25. But Yahushua called them unto him and said, Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them.
Okay, so the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them. So basically, those who are in authority are ruling over, uh, those who are under their authority, right? So, for example, if you had a king of a land, everyone is going to pay taxes and tribute to the king of that land. Okay. For example, if you live in America, you're going to pay taxes to the American government in order to fund to fund the government and allow it to do what it does. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Yep, verse 26. But it shall not be so among you, but whatsoever will be but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister.
Right. So if you get that word minister, Baba Kusha,
Right.
so Yahweh Shai said, um, we're not supposed to rule over each other like a king rules over um its people, as like lording over or putting that heavy tax and that heavy burden on his people. That's not what those of us who are in the truth are to do to our people. Okay, it's the scriptures say, "Whosoever is great among you, let him be your minister." And so we want to get that word minister real quick.
Yeah, so this is the word minister in the Greek.
Strong's G 1249. Diakonos. Diakonos.
When you go over here to the King James translation count, all right, the word that's translated, it means minister 20 times in the scripture, servant, deacon, okay? The first definition, one who executes the commands of another, especially a master, a servant, attendant, minister.
Right. So a servant, one who executes the deeds. I'm sorry, the commands of another. Okay. And so in this truth, man, if you are endowed with a heavy portion in the spirit, much is required of you. Okay. You're gonna have to be more what's the word I'm looking for? More involved in this truth than one who is still coming up in the spirit and being built up. Okay. So the more you come into truth and involve yourself with the ministry, the more is going to be required of you to do the work of the Lord. Thus, you're serving those younger men in the spirit, that are looking up to you, that are up under you. Okay, Yahushua didn't have his disciples serve him as far as you know carrying him on their on a throne on their shoulders, you know what I'm saying, and introducing him as this as the king of Israel, even though there wouldn't be anything wrong with that, because Yahushua is the king of Israel. Well, he's on top, man, when it comes to Israel. Okay, no one is above him, other than Yahushua. Okay, now we know that King David is gonna rule in the kingdom of heaven, but Yahushua appointed basically, he appointed King David, who in the reincarnation was Peter, to be the head of the church. So he's above Peter, man. Okay, this is the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father we're talking about. So yeah, it would have been cool for his disciples to exalt him on that way, amongst men. But that wasn't what he commanded. You see, if you could read a little bit more, brother, it'll go into that.
A servant of a king. B, a deacon, one who by virtue of the office assigned to him by the church cares for the poor and has charge and distributes the money collected for their use. A waiter, one who serves food and drink.
Right. Okay. So that's what those who are great among us are doing. Really, they're serving that spiritual food, okay, and that spiritual drink to us younger brothers. Apostle Gabar constantly putting up those GMS mailbags. That's spiritual food, man. Apostle Tahar, Apostle Ramlab, all of our elders and apostles, man, are constantly feeding us, man, with milk and things to grow us in the spirit, So the water, forgetting that word, bro. If we can continue reading in Matthew, of course, if you have any points or precepts, bro, bring them out.
So I'll read that 26 again. Now that we have a better understanding of the word minister, which basically means to serve, to be a servant. But it's verse 26, but it shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. If I can make one point, because in contrast between the 25th verse and the 26th verse is very big. Basically, in the world, when somebody's over you, they rule with vigor and they rule not in love, right? But in the verse 26, it's the opposite. It's the opposite the way that Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai teaches to interact with your brother, which basically puts your brother in front of you, which means that you're serving your brother. When in the world, the Gentiles, they exercise dominion over us, right? We have to serve them, even though they're greater than us. But in this truth, the ones that are greater, they do the more serving, they do the more ministering. I just wanted to give a little contrast between those two verses. Verse 27, and whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. See that?
Yeah.
Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many.
Right. And that's very, man, that's heavy, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the Most High put Yahushua on a level, man. You know what I'm saying? He was the first risen from the dead. I mean, this is a huge deal. We're talking about the same entity that made the worlds, man. You know what I'm saying? That made everything. This man was serving other men, basically. He was ministering unto other men, which is a huge sign that he wants us to be humble, man. He wants us to serve one another. You see? And so that's why he told them, look, that's what you need to do. Okay. I want to get this this quick precept just to understand the level that Yahushua was on, man. Okay. Colossians 1 and 16. It says, for by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him. Okay, so that's talking about Yahushua. Okay, and so this is the same entity that created all things visible and invisible. Okay, whether they be thrones, principalities, powers, dominions, all things were created by him and for him. All right, because Yahweh himself gave him that blueprint, and Yahushua executed it. Okay, when we're talking about in the beginning, and so this same spirit, this same soul, is the same soul that as we're about to read in John, the 13th chapter, washed the feet of his own followers. Okay, and we're going to explain why he did that. But yeah, that was it. You read verse 28, right?
28. Yeah, Khan.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get that in John 13, Bible Kushah.
Yeah. You want me to start at the top?
Yeah, we might as well, man. We might as well go ahead and get the context. Let's go and get it.
Okay, 10. So this is John 13 and 1. Now before the feast of the Passover, when Yahushua knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end.
Right.
And
so this is before the Passover. Yahushua knew that he had to deliver himself up to be killed and betrayed. Okay. And he loving his disciples that were still on the planet, and he loved them unto the end. You know, and so this is the sentiment of what he's about to do here. You know, he's reminiscing and thinking about, okay, I'm about to leave. You know what I'm saying? I really got to show these guys. Oh, there goes that little battery. I really got to show these guys. Can you still see me, brother?
Khan.
Okay, cool. I really got to show these men how much I love them, and how much and how they ought to treat each other. You know what I'm saying? Because when Yahushua showed his disciples how much he loved them, it helped them become more brotherly towards each other. You know. So I wanted to get just a little bit more context on that. But go ahead, Baba Kusha.
Yeah, it says verse 2, and the supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. Yahushua, knowing that the Father had given him all things into his hands, and that he was come from the Most High and went to the Most High, he riseth from supper and laid aside his garments and took a towel and girdled himself.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet and to wipe them away.
He began to wash the disciples' feet, man. You see? And it just stated really the precept that I just brought out. It's the spirit, because the precept that we just read in Colossians goes right into verse 3. You know, Yahushua knew that the Most High gave everything into his hands, and he was thankful. You know what I'm saying? He was thankful that he was about to receive that spiritual body, okay, and part of that blessing, okay. And so he knew that the Most High sent him, and he was about to go back to the one who sent him. So he started washing their feet, man. He put water in a basin or in a big bowl and started washing the feet of his disciples. Now, why did he do that? Because Peter was like, "What are you doing?" If you read, Peter was like, "What's going on?" Okay, well, Yahushua is about to answer. Well, let's go ahead and continue reading. In
Verse 6.
yeah.
It says, Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter said unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Yahushua answered and said unto him, What I do, thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter.
Right. Right. So this is this is one of Yahushua's beautiful parables, because Peter didn't understand it at that time, but it's just like the scriptures say in Acts about Paul. The Most High basically said, I will show Paul what great things he must suffer for my name's sake. When you come to serve Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you that's exactly what you have to do. You have to serve, man. You have to do what you're told. And so Peter, you notice, Peter acts first, and Peter was made the head of the church. So this is something that he would have to do, be a servant unto those that were under him. So he asked, what's going on? Why are you washing my feet? Well, Yahushua said, you don't know now, but you're going to know later on what I mean while I'm doing this. It was basically a symbol of being subservient to your brother, man. Yeah, man. That's the scripture say charity covereth a multitude of sins. Okay, so when you serving your brother, man, and you doing those things that you would want done unto you, the Lord has pleasure in that. You see, which is why it's important to be mindful, of each other's needs. Did you have a point, bro? Or you have something to say?
That's right. I'll continue. Verse 8, it says, Peter said unto him, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Yahushua answered him, If I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me.
Man, that's heavy, man. He said, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part in me. Why did he say that? Because if you don't have charity, if you don't love your brother, then you are none of his. If you don't have charity, man, then the Most High has basically, he doesn't really have no pleasure in you. It talks about that in 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. Basically, if you don't have charity, man, you don't have anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is very. Oh, go ahead, bro. Did you have
No,
something to say?
I'll continue reading, but you can make your point.
Khan. No, I was just saying it's a very important point to realize. Man. Yeah, let's go. I'm just looking at precepts while I'm thinking. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
Verse 9. Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Yahushua said unto him, He that is washed needeth not saved to wash his feet. So let me read that again. Yahushua said to him, He that is washed needeth not saved to wash his feet, but is clean every whit. And ye are clean, but not all. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore he said ye are not all clean.
Right. So Peter was like, well, shoot, wash my whole body, Baba Bashar, if you're gonna wash my feet, and Yahushua said, look, it's not really necessary, man. Your feet are the dirtiest part of your body, and it's the lowest part of your body, and so if you have clean feet, then basically you're essentially physically your whole body's clean. because your feet are the closest to the ground where all the dust and dirt is. So if you got clean feet, like I said, you're good, you know. And so, you know, the point is in verse. Did we get to verse? Oh no, okay, we didn't. Okay, so then it says in verse 10, he that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit. And ye are clean, but not all. So Yahushua knew that Judas Iscariot was going to betray him, man. You know, because even though Yahushua washed all the disciples' feet, including Judas Iscariot, he washed even Judas Iscariot's feet, and he knew that that he was going to be betrayed. That's a huge thing. So he still did that, okay? Which basically, man, it's more of a condemnation to Judas, because Yahushua did that to him, and he still ended up skating on the Lord, man. You know, which is, it just adds on to his transgression, you know. But it just goes to show you that this was talking about spiritually being clean, right? Which is what? Baptism. When you baptize, you washed away from that old man, and you purge out that you purge out that dirt and that filth that was on you from the world. You see? So baptism is extremely important. You see? Which is what that's symbolic of. And I had one quick precept to back that up. Let's see. I'm gonna start at Titus chapter 3, verse 4. It says, "But after that, the kindness and love of the Most High, of God our Savior toward man appear," talking about Yahushua, "not by works of righteousness which we have done, but according to his mercy he saved us by the washing of regeneration and the renewing of the Holy Spirit, which is shed on us abundantly through Yahushua HaMashiach, our Savior." So the washing of regeneration and the renewing of the Holy Spirit is that spiritual baptism. Okay? That circumcision of the heart. Okay? Confessing Yahushua, man. I mean, it's really only something that can be expressed through experience, you know. Because let's face it, man, when you were in the world, man, you were a no good, as Apostle Hart say, a grimy nigga, man. You know, straight up.
Yeah, that's true. This is true.
I mean, you know, Jake. When you just look at it, they don't really have no morals. Like, look at. I like to use this as an example a lot, but look at our, you know, so-called our leaders, like our, you know, those of our nation who are exalted in this society. It's very easy to tell that that they're wicked, basically. You know, I like to use the example of you know, Al Sharpton, or Gucci Mane, you know what I'm saying? Whoever the hell Jake looks up to in this world, man, it basically has most of the time more demons on them than the person that looks up to them. So it's very important to realize that when Yahushua works on your mind and cleanses you and renews your spirit, you're no longer an old grimy nigga. Now you're a clean, you essentially have a clean slate with the Lord, but you have to continue to keep that slate clean. Okay? It's like you get a free pass, okay? Or you get a second chance. Nobody really gets a free pass, but you get a second chance, okay? And you can either abuse that, or you can take advantage of it and not mess up again, you know? So we still have got to the. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I had a precept. I mean, but just real quick. This is Matthew 15:7. It says, "Ye hypocrites, well did Elias prophesy of you, saying, This people draw nigh unto me with their mouth, and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
Yep.
Yeah, just a little, just to kind of
No.
add what you were saying.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, okay, you took it there. So our spiritual leaders, oh man, I don't even want to say, because we know who our spiritual leaders are, but Jake's spiritual leaders are wicked, man. You know what I'm saying? The people that basically give our people advice on how to live their life according to the scriptures aren't teaching it properly. And that's an understatement, man. They twisted the scriptures like a freaking, I don't, bro, like a, I don't even know what to twist. Like a spin top, man. You know, they just twisting it all up. You know, it's tangled, it's nappy. They got a nappy doctrine, man. You know, it's not on point. Okay. First of all, if you're not teaching the name of Yahweh and the name of Yahweh Shai, your doctrine is not 100% true. You see? So that's the first issue. That's your foundation. Okay. And then you're teaching that the so-called white man can be saved, or that he's not the Edomite, or if you're teaching anything like that, of course you're going off, okay? Because there's a nation that's described in the Bible that the Lord is going to have indignation on forever, and that they are no longer going to be a people after a certain point of time because of their wickedness, because of their because of their greed, because of their making the other nations drunk with their philosophies, you know, just multiple reasons, and because of their carnality, you know, multiple things that that the Most High hates. And so if you're teaching these other doctrines, man, then you're not of the Lord, you know, which is why it's required before you even think about teaching the Bible, man. So first of all, you gotta learn by a man who has already been taught under the right teachers, man. You know, I mean, all these groups self-qualifying themselves as the only groups that can teach the scriptures and all of that. Well, guess what, man? Yahweh Shem Yahshai knows those who are his. You know what I'm saying? We're the only ones teaching in the name. You know what I'm saying? It's funny, you right, man, you got Nate mocking the name like that's not the name. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like Apostle Gabar said, he said IUIC is nothing but a glorified Baptist church with an Israelite twist. Okay? Because they twisting the scriptures. They're putting a spin on Christianity and saying, yeah, we're the Israelites. Jesus is black. That's it. Like, come on, bro. They're waxing worse and worse, man. You know?
Yeah, they're very, very bad, man. They going crazy, man. Perverting the doctrine. I have another precept just really quick. It says this Isaiah 9:16, for the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. So the head, the person that's actually doing it and that's causing them to err, like we read in Matthew the 15th chapter, right? That the understanding of these scriptures is taught by the commandments of men.
Yep.
You know, it's not taught by the inspiration of Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, it's taught by the inspiration of your wicked heart, these leaders' heart. Yep. So cause them to err mean to err. Err from what? Err from going off and going off in the law, going off in the scriptures. and they're both going to be destroyed. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, because if you're not teaching according to the law and to the testimony of Yahweh Shai, there's no truth in what you're saying, you know, which is huge, man, because they pretty much scoff him up, you know. Really, man, if you really want to get the straight skinny, I mean, you got other, like Apostle Tahar said, you got other Israelite groups out there that are teaching the correct doctrine, you know, through the Spirit. Okay, but GMS is where it's at, man. You know, as far as getting the truth, you know, I personally believe that this is the truth simply because of the Spirit is agreeing, man. It's agreeing with what we're saying, man, through the Spirit, you know. I didn't want to digress too much, but
Right. Yeah, let's kind of head back. Did you want to go into back into that, John?
Yeah. Let's go back and finish that in John, and then we can go to the last one that we had.
Okay. So this is
I believe it was in verse. Yeah. I think it was in verse. Was that verse 14? You're not all clean. No, I'm sorry. Verse 12.
Yeah, verse 12. Yep. John 13 and 12. So give me one moment. It says John 13 and 12. So after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was set down again, he said unto them, know ye what I have done to you? It says, ye call me master and Lord, and ye say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. It says, if ye know these things, happy are ye if ye do them.
Yep.
I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled. He that eateth bread with me hath lifted up his heel against me.
Right. So Yahushua saying, okay, look, so you call me master and Lord. Okay, yeah, you're right. So if that's the case, me washing your feet should show you that you ought to serve one another. Because if I'm greater than you, then you know that you need to be doing what I'm doing. You know, if I'm your leader, if you follow me, then follow after me in the fact that I wash your feet, man. Okay. And so that's why I said you have an example. Okay, in verse 15, I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. You see? And that's huge. And so it says, let's see, verse 16, it says, verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. Okay. So we are Yahushua servants, and we're not greater than Yahushua, so we ought to do that which he commanded of us. Okay. And so if we do those things that he said in verse 17, it says we will be happy. You know, happy are ye if you do them, because the Lord's going to bless you for being charitable to your brother. You see, that's ultimately part of what goes back to the law anyway, being charitable. Yeah, so that's all I had on that scripture there, bro.
Kind of, you want to go on that Philippians?
God.
All right, kind of.
I got one quick precept before we do that. In 1 Peter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 21. It says, "For even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps." Because you got to remember, he didn't just wash the disciples' feet, man. He actually delivered his life up. Okay? He was actually crucified for our sakes, man. You see? He suffered for us, man. And it's important to remember that in the times that we're coming in. Man, look, he didn't have to do that. You see what I'm saying? He didn't even have to wash our feet. So these things are examples for us to remember, man. These are very, very spiritual decisions that he made. Okay? Because he's thinking, he just washed their feet. Well, then if you think of it just like it was just nothing like that, then he just got crucified. No, man, it has spiritual meaning behind it. Okay? We're supposed to be serving one another, man. That's the point, man. No matter how annoyed you might get, Yahushua said, forgive your brother 70 times 7, man. Okay? So that shouldn't even be a discussion. Okay, you get angry, you talk about it, boom, it's over. You know? Because ultimately we're all we got on this side. So it's important to stay closely knit together. Yeah, so I got that. Let's get that in Philippians.
You want me to start at where you want me to start at, bro?
Really, bro. Dang near the whole chapter goes into it. But you can start at verse 3.
All right, come. This is Philippians 2 and 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other let each esteem other better than themselves.
Right, man. This truth is about putting yourself last. You see? Stop fighting and bickering and arguing about little petty, menial things. Okay? Because Esau, that's really one of his tactics. He's going to use against 2/3 of our people, just have them destroy each other. You know? He's already doing it now by putting Jake in the projects and giving them guns. You already know that one of them gonna get pissed off at another, so much as to take his brother's life. So are we carnal men to where we succumb to that energy and vibration, bickering and arguing over menial things? No. Okay, we're supposed to be in lowliness of mind. What is that talking about? Humility. Let each esteem or let each think of one another better than themselves. Because you got to remember, man, you're not exempt from judgment, and neither are you perfect. So I look up to my elders, man. I look up to the brothers that's in my camp, whether they be above me in the rank. Really, I'm so they all above me, but younger brothers, I admire their fervent faith, man, and their zeal for the truth. I can't say, that brother don't know no precepts, or he read he mess up too many times when he read, or this and that. That's Satan, man. Let each esteem each other better than themselves, because you don't know if Yahushua gonna save you. He might the man that you looking at sideways might be the man that Yahushua delivers, and you don't even get delivered. Okay, so it's important for us to remain in that mind state, in that mind state, that mind frame. Go ahead, brother.
Yep. It says, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others.
Right. So we're not only supposed to look upon, you know, our own needs and okay, oh, I only need this, and that's it. Look upon these others. Ask the brother, hey, brother, you need anything? You know, you hungry, you thirsty? You know what I'm saying? If you can help or if you can add to a situation, man, the Lord put it in your hands to add. What's wrong? How's that gonna hurt? That's only gonna help, and the brother's gonna be more appreciative. You see? Yeah, Baba Kushak, you can keep going.
Let this mind be in you, which was also in Hamashiach Yahushai, who being
Right. So like, bro, I gotta go verse by verse because this right here is talking about the mind state that Yahushai had. Okay, Paul's writing to the Israelites, to the Philippians, telling them what this is the mind state that you need to be in because Yahushai was in this mind state. Go ahead.
Yep, it says, who being in the form of the Most High, or being in the form of power, thought it not robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men.
That's right. Okay, so even though he received all this spiritual power, okay, and he had the ability to cast legions of angels to destroy those who were persecuting him, he didn't take advantage of that. Okay, he made himself of no reputation. Okay, I almost want to get that word reputation because I'm pretty sure it goes into being lowly. Like when you got a good reputation, essentially lots of times you're popular, you know. Well, Yahushua wasn't, you know, he was well known, but he wasn't highly esteemed by everyone. Okay, everyone didn't love him like everybody loves, you know, these celebrities. Well, that's because Esau set them up to basically be freaking idols, you know. But not everybody liked Yahushua because he told them of the things that that they did, you know, and they, you know, in their houses, man, how hypocritical they were being in their daily lives. So not everybody is always gonna be so, you know, openly warm to somebody who's cutting them all the time, you know. Even though you should be thankful that, you know, you get reproved, but you know 2/3 of our people hate reproof, you know. Did you have that word reputation, bro?
Yeah, let me get it.
Yeah,
So,
in the Greek.
in the Greek, it's the Greek word is actually no reputation. So,
Strong's G 2758. Kanao. Kanao.
it means to empty, make empty. Of Messiah, he laid aside equality with or the form of the Most High.
Yep. He laid aside equality with, you know, with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Really, he's greater than everybody else, but he laid aside that that carnal flesh, man. Was there any more?
Yeah, it says to make void, deprive of force, render vain, useless, of no effect. To make void, cause a thing to be seen to be empty, hollow, false.
Right. So he made himself of no reputation. When they tried to exalt him and make him king, he made himself of no reputation, and basically fell back. You know what I'm saying? It was like, nah, I'm not even. That's not even my time yet. You know what I'm saying? Y'all trying to make me king over Israel, and Edom is ruling over y'all. Hell no. When I'm king, ain't gonna be no more Edomites in power, man. I'm gonna come. The scripture say the saints are gonna take the kingdom. Okay, and wasn't no way in hell we was gonna take the kingdom back then at that time. So, it says he made himself of no reputation and took upon him the form of a servant. Okay, he took upon him there's a lot of precepts on here. He took upon him the form of a servant and was made in the likeness of men. Talking about how he came down in the flesh and suffered persecution in the flesh, and he suffered the same temptations that we go through, which shows how strong his mind was. Because a lot of times we succumb to and I'm just being straight and honest, you know, in this flesh, you know, you're gonna slip up, you know what I'm saying, and succumb to certain lust of the flesh, which is why it's a constant fight and battle, which requires prayer and fasting, you know, so that you don't go too far left and fall off your rocker, so to speak, you know. Let's see. Yeah, there's a little bit more on that.
Verse 8, it says, and being found in fashion as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross.
Right. And so he humbled himself, man. The Most High, you know, gave him a physical body to inhabit. Okay, he was born as a baby, came through his mother's womb, and became obedient unto death, man. The will of the Lord was finished through him, as far as what was required of him in that lifetime. You see? And that's what we have to be. We have to be obedient unto death. And what was that commandment that Yahushua commanded his men? To do what? To serve one another, man. Okay? To wash each other's feet. And he did that to us for an example. Okay? So that's all I had, brother, you know, on that.
Okay, Khan. Did you have any more precepts?
I was looking around, but I think we should spirit something. We probably go ahead and close out on that, bro.
Okay, Khan. Yeah. Yeah, Khan. So, you know, if you want to go ahead and close it out, I can.
Khan, brother. Yeah, man. Abarat, you brothers are edified, man. Continue to, you know, just think more about your brother, man. How would you want your brother to treat you in that situation? Or even more so, how would you treat Yahushua in that situation? You know? Hey, so Lord willing, you brothers were edified with that. We want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Wahab Rakak Wadash.
Wahab Rakak Wadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.
Shalom.